Hello, everyone. I'm number one Marmaduke fan. Summa trigerum, summa spoilerum, summa tangentum. A few months ago, one of my earlier reviews was of Star Wars number 34. I picked up a few because I heard someone say Star Wars was pretty good. It was the Star Wars Annual. I picked up a bunch of Star Wars comics after the Star Wars Annual, and I hated Star Wars 34, and I did a review called Star Wars 34 Just Blue Pilled Me because it was all about the amazing Captain Staros and how amazing and special she is and how easy it is for her to outsmart everyone in the galaxy, including the Empire and Jabba the Hutt, because Captain Staros is just so special and so smart. It all comes easily to her. And then after that, Star Wars started getting really good, and I've been enjoying it ever since issue 35. I think it was a sharp rise in quality. So I picked up all the True Believers of a few recent series, and I've noticed that the True Believers for Star Wars books are decent. They're adequate. They're mediocre in the non mean sense of the term, meaning that they're perfectly okay. And for a buck, yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm at least semi interested to go check out more. This apart really from the quibble of this being paced for the trade and setting up a big adventure. I, I'm interested. This feels like Lando, unlike Captain Staros in Star Wars 34, who's smart because she's smart and she's smarter than everybody. Lando is having to struggle. He feels a little Han Solo-ish in that he's not quite sure what he's doing, but he scrapes it out and he figures things out. So we'll do a little storybook time. I like that the art isn't this creepy photorealist effect of the actor Billy D. Williams' head, and then everything else is drawn except for Billy D. Williams' head, which is like a photograph glued on top of everything else. He's actually a drawing. It's spaced out, lots of big scenic shots of rooms and the scenery. There's kind of this cool little sexy scene where Lando is planning to steal this artwork from a imperial governess, and rather than just steal it, he uses his smooth moves to kind of speak to her emotionally and convince her to give it to him as a lover. And something that was interesting about this is that this seems to be foreshadowing Lando later becoming a stooge for the Empire and turning over his friends to the Empire. Because at this point, he hates this Imperial woman. He thinks of her as a thing, not a person, because she works for the Empire and he considers the Empire scum. So he's got this judgmental attitude. But if you know what he does in the films, then it adds this context that he's going to be falling. He's judgmental of the Empire now as a thief and a scoundrel, but later he's going to become what he hates. So that's kind of an interesting idea, and it was a good gambit that he did. He manipulated her in a very clever way by convincing her that giving him this thing would prove that she's a decent person with a soul. And I don't like how Lobot, they give him almost sort of this millennial speak. I mean, let's see. Yeah, the implants tell me the chances of that working were something like 1 in 10,000 at best. This is a fantasy. That doesn't mean Star Wars doesn't take itself seriously all the time. It has lots of fun quips and comebacks, but it's not a 21st century Avatar: The Last Airbender funsy time. I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, but the characters in Avatar: The Last Airbender don't talk like children in a medieval China kind of land. They talk like 2000s kids might, and they have that sort of sense of humor. It makes it a little bit more identifiable for young kids, but it's at the cost of the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender doesn't feel like a medieval world when they do sort of kind of 21st century quippy style humor. So this is that 21st century quippy style humor, and that's not quite Star Wars sense of humor. Star Wars sense of humor is usually in kind of slapstick comedy. I remember the director's commentary on The Last Airbender, on the Return of the Empire. The director was talking about how much he loved Han Solo kicking the computer on the Millennium Falcon to make it wake up. C-3PO and R2-D2 are an Abbott and Costello, tall, skinny guy and short, fat guy comedic duo. It's a lot of physical comedy in Star Wars, and then the quippy comedy is usually something like Princess Leia and Han Solo roasting each other and making fun of each other, where there's the romantic subtext that makes their teasing of each other more fun. So, yeah, I wasn't that big on this. So, Lando has stolen this object for... I don't know. There's this thing about Star Wars where there are a lot of suspiciously ethnic style characters, like Anakin's slave master in The Phantom Menace. People think that was kind of a Jewish stereotype, that some of the aliens had sort of a very Chinese vibe to them to give the aliens some flavor, kind of give them a familiar flavor of a recognizable Earth culture. This Papa guy is suspiciously Jewish. I don't know. You'd think after The Phantom Menace and all the blowback they got, they'd be a little more sensitive about that. But maybe that's just me being a typical SJW and projecting my own biases onto this. I have no... Now, gosh, this is going to get taken out of context later and used to roast the heck out of me. Anyway, so Lando is working for this kind of creepy alien dude, and he was hoping this was going to wipe out his whole debt, but the alien tells him that he's got to do something bigger to wipe out his debt. And Lando continues to have his cutesy tete-a-tete with Lobot, and you see what I'm talking about pacing. 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of this chat. So Lando has hired these two Black Panther twins to be his muscle for the big plan he's planning, and they're doing some weird thing where they're like hinting. It's like they're nudge, nudge, wink, winking about something creepy about these alien brothers. Like they're really close and hot. Lando kind of hems and haws when he says, "It'll be enough to get you what you want." Like, what are they suggesting? This is an incestuous twin couple or something? What? Why is there all this hemming and hawing about these two characters? I don't get it. So pretty much they're these cool, action fighters who fight with traditional weaponry and spears. Okay, I always get flashbacks to Samurai Jack. Reminds me of the Lion Brothers in one of those Samurai Jack episodes. So here we go again. So we're continually building this. So now he goes and speaks to some professor who's an expert in ancient artifacts, who's annoyed at Lando, and then Lando shows him what he's going to steal, and the professor's knocked out by it. So they're going to rob an entire ship that's a luxury cruiser for an Imperial. They don't know which Imperial it is, but it's full of valuable artworks. So if Lando steals the ship for the guy he owes money to, he gets to keep all the artworks on board. And they just really skip right over it. Boom, they steal it, they're off into space. And then the commander reports the theft to an Imperial, and Lando's saying, well, I don't care who I stole it from. And then big reveal, the person they stole from is Emperor Palpatine himself. So way too much padding just to get to the setup that they stole from Emperor Palpatine. I would have liked to have gotten this reveal on about page 5. And then the rest of the comic would be the Emperor bringing down holy heck on Lando and the action of Lando trying to deal with that. But for $1, can't be too mad. Better art than what I've been seeing in the main Star Wars book because it's consistently drawing. Lando being kind of fun and cool and biting off more than he can chew. I'm semi-interested to see where this goes. So if I can get the trade paperback at a library or pick it up used for cheaper somewhere, maybe I'll get a Marvel Unlimited account and see if I can read it there, then yeah, I'll read more. I'm #1 Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Why don't you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you later.